seems like every year we talk a little bit about how the trade deadline starts later than people think it does. People want trades to start happening in June. They want to think they happen in May or something. But, the first, I would say, significant trade went down yesterday, and we're under a week to the trade deadline. And that seems to be a little late for the first one.
Rafael Devers got traded like 6 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, that's true. But that didn't feel like a trade deadline trade as much as just a...
Yeah, Josh Naylor last night traded to Seattle. Yeah, I mean, that's right. We talked to Thad Levine about that a little, how they treat the calendar, kind of first 2 months.
Right.
You're getting ready on your own. Then the next 2 months, you start to kind of put your toes in the trade waters and just see where everyone's at roster-wise, and then it kind of kicks in. I just think that's just natural when there's any deadline for anything.
Sure.
Says the guy who never wrote a term paper before the day before it was due. But also, that's just human nature, I think. I hope that I'm not alone in that. But beyond that, I think specifically the last, whenever they spent 3 years, 4 years, whenever they expanded the playoff field to 6 per league, it creates a situation where it's going to take significantly longer. And even now, a week out, think of how poorly the Twins have played. Right. And the fact that they are like 11th out of 15 teams in the American League, I think, or 10th. And they're below 500 and, all this stuff. And they're like 15, 20% to make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah,
because when you have 6 playoff teams, winning 85 games is usually going to get you in. And that's a big change even from a handful of years ago or 20 years ago, whatever. So I think that plays a part in that you have to wait to let this thing develop a little bit. And even if you wait, it's not, there aren't that many teams compared to 10 days ago that have kind of dropped out. I know that because we work on this big board thing at The Athletic that updates every 3 weeks, and we're trying to add in more selling players, basically, or, from selling teams. And there's some, including the Twins. We added in a whole bunch of Twins this week. We can talk about that later. But yeah, it's a weird spot. I think, from the Twins' perspective, they lose 2 out of 3 to the Rockies and lose 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers on the road trip. You go 2-4. You're now 49-53, and there are only 6 games remaining, all of them at home. You get Nationals and then Red Sox at home, but 6 games remaining until the deadline. You got to go 5-1 just to be 500 at the deadline. And we mentioned playoff odds, or I mentioned playoff odds a minute ago. They're playoff odds depending on where you like to go: Baseball Reference, Fangraphs, Baseball Prospectus, whatever. Joey's playoffodds.com. Don't go to that. I don't know. I haven't checked if that's porn or not. Whatever. They're like somewhere between 5 and 15% basically to make the playoffs. That's not that much different than it was 2 weeks ago, let's say, or even 3 weeks ago. I think it's they were maybe 20-something% to make the playoffs then. But I think the narrowing of the schedule itself and the kind of push towards the cliff that is the actual deadline, like the ticking clock there, I would think this road trip specifically, coming out of the break, you go 2-4. The Rocky series obviously hurts really a lot because I'm sure that was a spot where you could make up some ground. To me, in my head at least, and this is not, they've been on the road, so it's not like I've been talking to anybody. I'm hoping to get some more insights tonight. I think you're going to be at the ballpark too tonight. Yeah. But in my mind, at least my view of this, there's no more debate to me about buyer or seller. I mean, you could maybe still say, let's be really light buyers and just plug 1 or 2 holes or something like that for a low end prospect. I could see them doing that, I suppose, but just logically, they're sellers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I will be. That's one of the things I'm kind of hoping to find out today or tonight is to have some conversations with. Do they know yet? Like, have they decided yet? Have they?
Yeah.
Have they informed Rocco this is the way we're going? Have Rocco informed the team this is the way we're going? Like, is this? I mean, essentially, is the season over already? And how do they feel about that in terms of whether or not they're really competing?
The answer to that is either no or it's yes, and we're not going to say it's yes.
Potentially, yeah.
I mean,
right.
There's no way that anybody involved. But I mean, I just know from reading Dan Hayes' story from this road trip, which he went on both series, just to play. I mean, Griffin Jackson, Ryan Jeffers, and the usual suspects that you would want to talk about the state of the team, Carlos Correa, etc. they know. I mean, they know what the situation is. They haven't been told, hey, we're selling. That's not something you would ever tell the players in the clubhouse, really. But I mean, they know the standings. They're having conversations just like we're having conversations. Trust me, probably a little smarter and better looking than our conversations. But
sure.
I mean, I just think it's become, whereas 2 weeks ago you could maybe make like a rose-colored or twin-centric, through that lens case of like, yeah, but if they get so-and-so back and they get, well,
Royce Lewis gets hot.
By the way, Royce Lewis just got hot for that whole road trip. They went 2-4. I mean, this isn't basketball where one guy's just going to lift all tides. So, I mean, I think at this point, that's the biggest change for me in the last dozen games or so, whatever it is. And that includes the All-Star break, obviously. But the idea of it's taken some of the subjectivity out of it, at least for me. I mean, there's always going to be subjectivity. There could be teams that have 2% playoff odds that just decide, you know what, screw it, we'll do it. And maybe the Twins will be that. I think more likely is they say, screw it, we'll just do nothing, because that's what they've done. But to me, this has taken a lot of the subjectivity or a lot of blurriness, murkiness away from this. And you look at this team, 49-53, they're not going to be 500 even at the trade deadline. Most likely they don't have to go 5-1. Like I said, you can't really make the argument that they're getting hot. You could make the argument about, Royce Lewis coming back and all that, but okay. Yeah. First of all, even that itself is optimistic to view it that way. I hope that's the case, but I don't know. I've just kind of settled now. Instead of being a little bit on the sell side, but on the fence overall, I think I've tipped over, much like Humpty Dumpty, off the fence, and I'm now on the at least light sell side.
And welcome to the end of this video. There's lots more. For another, just click on one of these boxes.
Or click on this circle in the middle to subscribe to all of our Twins Talk.
Thank you.
Gleeman